is extremely important. If we can nail this down, I can tell you that you will not have to worry about. Hi everyone, this is Tuba Zafar, your business coach, and I discuss topics that have to do with developing your own business, building a strong brand, building your own team, and focusing on developing your personal skills as well to find the right target audience for your business to get to the next level. So, today I want to be talking about something basic, but something extremely important that sets the basis of everything that you have to do within your business. Whether you are a service or product based business, you need to identify who your target audience is or who your ideal customer profile is, or sometimes we also call these customer personas. And so we're going to talk about why it's important to identify the personas for your either service or product that you're going for within your business. Now, we all know that whenever we start off with a new venture, and there's a lot of question marks and there's a lot of moving pieces, because of which you may not exactly know who your right target audience is or who you actually want to work with as well. And so, all of those things at that point in time, that's perfectly fine. But once you mature a little bit, you have experience, working with a few clients, you do start to get an understanding of who your ideal client is going to be, who you want to work with, and for what reasons. That can completely depend on probably your expertise, or maybe you start working on something and you feel like you're really good at it. So, for whatever reason, you may decide to move ahead with a certain type of target audience. It's extremely important to define it to begin with. So, we are going to be discussing how defining your target audience can not only benefit you as a business owner, but whether or not you're a part of the marketing team or the development team, it's extremely important to have the end user focus in your mind at all times. And that essentially helps you create either the best user experience in terms of when you're developing a product or also when you're delivering a service. So, we're going to be talking about three main types of personas that really have helped me kind of boil it down and really understand how I want to be moving forward and how I want to be approaching my target audience. And so there is going to be three main categories. The first one is a general buyer persona, the second one is a marketing persona, and the third one is a product or service persona. So let's just start off by understanding what exactly a persona is. It's essentially a fictional character that you create based on your research or prior experience working with different clients, and it really helps you to focus on the ideal user for your product or service that you're going for. And personas can be multiple. So, for example, let's say I'm a real estate agent and I'm looking to sell property in a specific niche. Now, I can target different kinds of personas for the same kind of service that I'm offering. So, I may be able to sell a commercial property or a commercial plot to somebody who is probably an investor looking to invest on a business end. It can also be a new couple who's probably looking to invest for their long term future. It can also be new couples who are, let's say, trying to invest for their child's future. So, for this one service, I can develop a ton of different kinds of personas. And so each one of these personas really helps me target the kind of niche that I want to be reaching out to for my service. And it can also allow me to understand how and what is exactly working for me, what I can do to probably even narrow these personas down to the T. So essentially, when you're looking at personas, they're not only beneficial for you as a businessman, but also as a marketer or as an individual who's working in the product development side of the things. So, from a business perspective, just as I talked about, it's important to know who you are intending your target audience to be. If you're somebody who's in the B2B space, your target personas may be certain industries. So, for example, as I'm working in the technology space, the personas that we usually deal with are businesses, for example, in the United States with, let's say, 20 to 50 employees, or 100 to 200 employees that work in or provide specific services. So, this is more so of a general persona that I'm talking about. So, this is the number one category of personas that I usually drill down with. So, I usually use a top down approach when defining personas. And the first one is going to be the general category that we just talked about, where it's a little bit broader. It's not exactly very specific, but it's giving you an idea of your ideal customer or helping you narrow down to that pathway as well. The second type of persona is a marketing persona. So, for example, I'm a business owner and I want to sell Microsoft services. So, I can have a pretty broad range of target audience. Of course, I can serve a lot of different industries, but who exactly is going to be the person who's going to be interested or who's going to be seeking out the kind of services that I'm providing? And so it may be the chief technology officer, it may be a certain project manager. And so it's going to be somebody on a higher level, kind of like on an executive level position, or somebody who has the authority to take action and say yes and kind of move things forward for you. They may not necessarily, however, be the end users at all times. So, as a business owner, let's say I'm looking to buy a CRM service for my team. And so that CRM service may not directly be utilized by me, but I am somebody who is seeking out those services because I A, have the money, and B, I have the power to make the decisions and kind of make things move in a business. So, this is our second type of persona. The third type of persona is very specific to our product or service, and usually these can also be defined as the end users. So whenever you have the end user in mind, this is also, by the way, very important when it comes to product development. So if you are a software company, you're probably developing a product to serve a specific market. And so it's extremely important, again, to understand who your end users are going to be, what their pains are, and what they require or expect from the service or product that you are offering to them. And so these may not be exactly people who are, taking decisions, but these are typically people who are going to be directly impacted by how your product or service offering is, because they're direct consumers. So in terms of business to consumer, if you're a B2C business, then pretty much you're going to be targeting these kinds of personas who are typically going to be end users. So, for example, if you're an e commerce brand and let's say you're selling out pillows to your target audience, and so those pillows you will need to define the specific personas for. So, for example, this can be now an orthopedic pillow that helps relieve probably neck pain. And so, the target audience now that I am looking forward to may be individuals 18 and above who are typically, let's say, working from home and who have certain back problems, and they can also be targeting, let's say, people who are above the age of 60. And so they have retired. Now they want to live a comfortable life. They want to be investing in themselves. So, what you essentially want to be doing is getting into people's heads. And that's the best way that I can define a persona. I usually define it kind of like profiling. If you're an investigator, you would, stalk somebody, or you would go out at somebody and you define every single thing that they're up to get an understanding of their personality and kind of assess what sort of a person they are, what their habits are, what their needs and wants are as well. So personas work on a similar way. You really try to get in the head of your end consumers to understand what their pain points are, what triggers them to make that decision to, let's say, move ahead with the product or services that you're offering, and how you can then tailor your message to better suit their needs and wants. And so they can understand your offerings a little bit more better and they're able to make those quick decisions. So at the end of the day, the benefit of defining personas essentially directly have to do with how you can tailor your message and your offering to get to the right person that you want to. Of course, there is always going to be trials and errors as a marketing strategist. You may often face the situation where you have to develop different kinds of campaigns. And so you're pretty much playing with different kinds of personas or different kinds of ideal customer profiles to see what's working, what's not, based on the analytics that you receive off of your socials or websites, whatever it is that you're kind of going off of. And so this is kind of a brief introduction about what exactly a persona is and why it's important for your business. Now, to understand a little bit more in terms of how you can really develop these personas, I do have a checklist that I just pulled out on my system as well. And so there are typically 9 basic things that I look at. And these things really help me boil down to the target audience in a rather easy way, because there are a lot of different templates or tools that you can use out there to develop these ideal customer profiles. And I'm just going to be kind of giving you an overview of what has worked for me thus far. So to start off with, you want to be seeing what exactly the demographics or the profile is on a basic level. So we start off with, let's say, basic things as the age, what job this person is doing, what gender specific, there is, what's their lifestyle, what their preferences are in terms of, spending their money. And so all of these traits are going to help you build a very basic understanding of who your target audience is going to look like. And so is it somebody young? Is it somebody, kind of in their middle age? Is somebody a little bit old, a little mature? And so that's the first thing. On the second end, we want to assess what the personality traits of this person is like. So what triggers them to spend money? Are they introverted? Are they extroverted? How do they build their trust on brands? So do they like to go by word of mouth? Do they like to do their research? How exactly are they making the decisions that they're making? Number 3, we look at the goals, the motivations behind these individuals to see what exactly their probably personal goals are, their professional goals are, and how exactly they keep a track of these goals, and how do they align themselves to achieve them as well. Next up, we want to be looking at what the challenges are for these individuals. So this is key, because whenever you understand the pains behind a given person, you're better able to address them and really focus on how your offering is going to be valuable for them. So understanding the challenges can really help you specify your messaging as well. Next up, we have our channels. So what kind of social media channels, or generally channels, these personas are using? So are they on Facebook? Are they, if they're, let's say, more of like millennials or Gen Zs, they're going to be on Instagram or TikTok. And so your specific target audience is going to be really helping you define what platform you should be targeting. So instead of you driving your target audience or poking around in places that are not going to give you the results that you're looking for, look at your audience, see where they are, and that's really going to help you find them and target them a lot more easy. So, for example, LinkedIn is a pretty professional space, and you can find more B2B clients, I believe, on that space instead of in other places. Of course, there are other tools as well, and again, it really depends on what your target service offering is and who you're looking to sell those service offerings to. Then we have the marketing message. So once you have built out, all of these basic understandings of the pain points, the goals, the demographics of an individual, you can really start to tailor your messaging for them. So in the start, we talked about the real estate industry and how as a real estate agent I may be targeting different individuals for the same service. So if I am going to be targeting a newly vetted couple, I'll be targeting them a little bit differently. My messaging is going to be different compared to somebody who's a business owner who has probably a lot of free cash flow, and I can sell them probably something a lot more expensive than somebody who is at a rather fresh career journey, or they're starting off on their career progressions as well. So once we have the marketing message down, we want to be defining the value proposition. So the marketing message, the value proposition, sometimes these can be interpreted as the same thing. But I really believe that defining these things separately can help you narrow down the benefits and make it even clearer for your clients as to what is it that you're trying to say and what is it that they're going to get out of it. Because your message may say, hey, come buy this pillow and it's great quality, it has such and such features, and it comes with, let's say, a free cover and whatnot. But what value is this product going to be offering me if I end up purchasing it? Because I don't want to just purchase it because it comes with these features. I want to purchase it because it's going to help me relieve or ease the neck pain that I'm experiencing. So that's the value proposition that you want to be going for. Number 8 is going to be common objectives. So now, as a business owner or as anyone who's selling a services or an offering, you want to be relatable. You want to build a story or an experience that people can relate with and feel like, oh, this is talking to me, or this is something that I can that I've experienced. And so those common objectives really help build that credibility and make that buying decision or going ahead with whatever it is that you're selling a lot more easier than a push strategy where you're consistently spamming them either with, let's say, messages, or you're spamming them with a bunch of ads and not really telling them what is it that you are offering and how exactly it's relevant for them. So the last thing that I'm going to be talking about is the elevator pitch. If you can define your message in one sentence or a few words, then that's going to be the only thing you're ever going to need. Having a ton of lengthy paragraphs or a ton of different kinds of messages saying the same thing but not really hitting the point is not really worth it. So the elevator pitch comes from the idea that if you are to pitch somebody your business idea in less than 10 seconds, how would you do it? It needs to be fast, it needs to be quick, it needs to be to the point. And so that's where this idea is coming from. So boil it down into a few words or maximum at a sentence. So I hope this helps you understand how you can build your personas and how you can use these 9 different categories to define who you want to be targeting to, why they should buy from you, what their pain points are, how your product or service aligns with their goals. At the end of the day, what really matters is you creating that first impression. If you find this content useful, please like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel. And until next time, take care of yourself.